banana bar. So one of my favorite flavor combinations is banana pecan. This was originally a bonbon I created with a pecan praline layer and a banana ganache that we didn't roll, and it was something I'd snack on every single day. When I started this new position, we didn't have a chocolate machine yet. I'm hopefully getting an enrober this year, so I really wanted to bring something back with that favorite flavor combination of mine. So we came up with the pecan banana bar. It has a banana insert inside, so you actually make a classic banana foster with pureed bananas and sliced bananas and rum and caramelized sugar. I was going to make that for you guys today, but that's pretty much all on the stove, so my back would be to you the whole time. But this is a really, really good banana insert. It's got chunks of bananas in it, so you actually see the bananas when you cut into the bar later. My only advice on that one is the banana puree. Use the ripest bananas you can. The additional starch as a puree kind of messes with the consistency sometimes. The sliced bananas obviously want a little ripe, not green, but also not really soft either, because then they will lose their shape as you're going through the frosting process. All right. The base for this one is a classic chocolate roulade cake. This is the recipe from the Cacao Barry book, ABCs, chocolate ABCs, right?
Pastry alphabet.
Pastry alphabets. It's a great resource of a book for all classic recipes. There's a section in there on ganaches I refer to all the time of, I need to make a white chocolate ganache. I only have this percentage of chocolate available right now. That's not my normal one. How do I need to adjust this on the fly? Really great resource for that. This chocolate cake's from that book. It's a choux paste base you make with it, and then fold in a meringue afterwards. So it's meant to be the roulade that you roll up, but I found with the tight crumb structure on it, the flexibility of the sponge, it being a base for a buffet style cake where you're cutting the slices is really small, it holds up really nicely and it looks really clean. And it doesn't stick to all your buffet plates when people are trying to pick up pieces on the buffet. So a lot of the time you have to do the compound chocolate on the base of cakes to make them not stick to things. This one you don't necessarily need to do that, but you could if you were in a warmer environment, you were afraid all of the cakes were going to stick to things. Really thin layer of that compound chocolate on the bottom will save you all the hassle on that. Right, so I am going to get this flipped out of the pan. So I'm going to put a piece of parchment down here. It's going to stick nicely to that extra crust. I'm going to remove this baking layer of parchment and get a nice clean layer. And I'm going to just flip this right back into the sheet pan that I originally baked it in. So dry in Colorado, it's not good. With the frame, I'm not going to trim the cake. This is going to help hold everything in, so I'm just going to press it directly into this cake. So well, make sure none of that loose falls out. Then I'm going to do a layer of pecan praline inside. So the pecan praline, as you can see, still got a lot of texture to it. I love that. I love having texture in my praline. We can buy praline paste from anywhere that's perfectly smooth, but I really like the texture. I know there's nuts in this. It's got a little bit of crunch. It's got a little bit of that sugar crunch still in it. So I really keep it chunky on purpose for this. So I'm just gonna remix that a little bit, natural separation. This recipe was adapted from a bonbon originally, so it had a lot more cocoa butter in it, and I would actually temper it to set as a praline on here. I've removed all the cocoa butter out of this recipe, and it's just made with Laguna chocolate, which is over there on the table now, which is a 41% milk chocolate, which is a really high percentage milk chocolate. I absolutely love the fact that it's a really high percentage milk chocolate and can really hold up to the flavors that are a little bit stronger, like banana. Banana's a strong flavor, and it can get overpowered very easily. So about 600 grams on here, just that nice thin layer. Layer of praline on there. Perfect. Now we got that prepped. We're going to make a milk chocolate Bavarian based mousse. Nothing super special about this mousse recipe other than the amazing chocolate that's in it. It's Laguna again, the 41% milk chocolate. This is again too, the higher cocoa butter percentage you use, the less gelatin you have to actually use in the recipe, which I'm always a fan of. So look at my sugar rack, it's so helpful. Alright. So doing our gelatin. Grab a pot crate, I'll have you make our glaze again. So I am using all milk for the unglaze part of it and just folding in cream at the end. There's also some salt in here. Salt is very important. Like balance that sugar content, especially in milk chocolate where sugar is a little higher. Alright. You guys have a lot of tasting of chocolates to do. That's great. A lot of good stuff over there. Bear with the noise with me a second. I am going to lightly whip this cream so we can build the mousse. This is the smallest batch of this I've ever made in my career. We were joking yesterday, the chocolate roulade base, I also do a vanilla version, and we have a group of 2,000 people coming in that went to Strawberry Shortcake Bar as their plated event, and we said, okay, well, how many sheets of cake do you think we can make at one time? And we did 25 in one batch. Just so you know, that is the max amount of that cake you can ever do in one batch. If any of you have the bird bath bowls, that was to the brim with cake mix, and I was folding ever so gently to ensure we did not lose anything out of that bird bowl during that. But yes, you can do 25 sheets at one time if you had to. It's really good if you find a friend to do the shoe part of it. It's a lot of shoe in a pot, but yeah, definitely possible to do in large portions. The banana cake of this is also very, very good. Chocolate ready for this. You see the color on this milk chocolate too, much darker than normal. Really nice cacao flavor. Part about small batches is my internal timer when whipping cream is set for like 5 minutes, not so much in a KitchenAid. All right. So while I'm finishing up the mousse, start on the garnish for the milk chocolate bar. I have to take all the chilliness off of that. Frank's going to heat up a little bit further the Mia Mir is my go-to chocolate for everything. That's what I put in my chocolate tempering machine. Most of the dark chocolate garnishes are made with that. Basic mousses, that's my workhorse. I use that for everything, and I go through the most of that at work. It's absolutely great in the tempering machine, and it's, you know, on the lower cost end of things, but still has great chocolate flavor. It's also great in something where you don't want it to have a strong chocolate flavor and overpower whatever it is. So for this particular garnish, I really wanted the garnish to be dark chocolate, so it offsets in color. Thank you, Frank. But at the same time, I don't want to use a high couverture, strong flavored dark chocolate, because it's going to take away from all the other flavors I put in the dessert. So that's why I chose Mia Mir for this one. Nice and hot. All right. Let me find my tools. That one tool at your shop you have to guard and hide in your office so no one loses it or steals it. What is it? What's that one tool?
It's a mini offset.
Mini offsets?
Yeah, I don't know why.
Really? Wow.
I've had it since culinary school. And
Oh, so it's a sentimental
but everybody wants to use it.
It's awesome. What else? Most hide stuff in the office.
Scrapers, the mat for scrapers.
Yeah.
You know, you gotta keep a bunch of those. So I got like 20 of them in the office.
That'll do it. I have a nice bookshelf in my office that's 50% books, 50% tools. My team's very good keeping everything there, but we are directly connected to the hot kitchen. The savory cooks not take care of sauce guns or my scoops. Is that a thing? Savory cooks came to see me the other day. They're like, I need to borrow your Robo Crew top. I was like, all right, what are you doing? Oh, we're going to blend up garlic. I was like, no, you're not. You can walk to the other side of the hotel and borrow one from somebody else. Dry fish skins on my silk hats. Free bowl scrapers? Is that what I heard? Yes. Who also has a stash of bowl scrapers in their office? You're going to get new ones.
If there's like Sharpies, I swear I give them out like every week.
They just go away. I don't understand. It's not right. Yeah. You know what you're doing. Frank is the best sous chef ever. Fortunately, he has a full-time, very demanding job, so. It's a lot faster with myself. Is anybody lucky enough to have a chocolate tempering machine at work? Yeah. Oh, so lucky. You just keep a dark chocolate in there, usually? Usually, yeah. I had the fun experience of very lucky to get a lot of new machines. When we installed the chocolate tempering machine, I actually bought it used from School of Chocolate. You guys watch that show? Yeah, you can buy it on discount from it. But when they installed it, 3-phase electrical, if you put it in backwards, the machine spins backwards. So I plugged it in, it wasn't doing anything. It was like, it's on, it's heating, not spinning. Took me a lot of Google research to figure out what in the world my electrical team did to install that. I should have known better because I did the same thing with my spiral dough mixer I had installed. Put that in, pizza dough was the first one we did. Turned it on, pizza dough's flying out of the mixer into the room. I'm like, what is happening? Yeah, it's spinning backwards. So, if you ever get a brand new piece of equipment and have to install new electricity for it, you will be the wiser now.
I've had the same thing happen with a dough sheeter. You expect it to go one way, and then you turn it on, and it goes the opposite way, you know?
Yeah? Awesome. This requires a focaccia technique. What you're going to do is, this is the cocoa brute. Nice dark cocoa powder look to it. A little bit of bronze luster in there. What you're going to do is, just like you would some focaccia, is I'm going to lightly just create some texture and spread out that cocoa powder on the sheet. So I don't want the grooves too intense. I don't want any holes where it goes to the parchment, but I want nice very long lines of chocolate and going into all those holes where it's not going to be a nice straight line. It's going to be almost like a tree branch. I'm sure you guys have all seen the ice technique of piping the tempered chocolate into ice and getting that cool technique. My only problem with that is now you've got water on your chocolate and it usually blooms and you can't get it off all the way. So this is just piping to get that same texture but directly in cocoa powder. This is also going to give you a beautiful kind of matte textured look with the cocoa powder on the outside with a little bit of luster on it. And this is when it sits on top of the banana bar. The banana bar is glazed with a beautiful bronze glaze, nice and shiny. So you have a different texture on top of something shiny. It's not a typical shiny chocolate garnish. So not too big of a hole. I can't really have you guys see this. If you want to stand up, you can. But basically just piping a decently thick size on all those curves. And then once this sets, you can pick it up, break it into by hand the size you need. Again, I don't want them to be all similar. I want them to have that natural look to it. Can you scroll? Can I what? Scroll. I have not played around with swirls. Would you like to try? Yeah. Do a couple more lines because we need garnishes, but then you can do some swirls. It's a little thicker. You don't want it too thin or it will break. Nice. Yeah, try your swirl over here. Let's try that. Yeah. It's like the cake design where you go in all the different holes randomly and have it all connect together. Cool. Anybody else want to try to pipe one? Or just get closer so you can see it? Because I can't lift it up. Nice. Thank you. Anybody else? I'm going to do a couple more. So this is a pretty fast garnish. So if I need to make several hundreds of these, I mean, I'm going to get probably 8 portions out of one of these. So if I did a full sheet pan of this, I can have a pastry intern over here piping. They can do thousands really, really quickly.
You think you put that frozen?
Keep what?
Frozen? If you make it out, you can put frozen?
I typically don't put chocolate in the freezer just because of the condensation that comes when you change the temperature. And then, you know, what happens when chocolate and water meet. But just find that nice cool area to keep your tempered chocolate in. I know that's hard. That shouldn't be too hard. Yeah, it doesn't get that hot, right? Maybe?
In summer is different.
Summer is different?
Yes.
2 months? Yeah. Winter's almost over, guys. All right, so we got that whole sheet set here. So once that sets, we'll be able to get a nice.
Can I show
Yes.
and show this to people? I'll walk this way so you guys can kind of all take a look and see. So you kind of get the whole little bit of holes with your fingers, like you're massaging it.
If you wanted to, if it was a garnish you're going to see from both sides, but the way we put it on there, that's the bottom. You're not going to see it. But yeah, if you had it, you wanted it more as like a stick standing up on a dessert where you would see that other side, that would be a great use for that. You guys are creating new stuff already today. Thanks. All right, so we're gonna finish building the banana bar. So we've got our lovely chocolate here. It's cooled down perfectly. We're gonna add that soft peak cream to it. Berry bowls are the best for everything. Perfect size. Everybody got a bowl today, right?
Yeah,
You're gonna fall in love with that bowl. Or somebody already has bowls. Melt all your chocolate in the microwave very quickly. Most of the savory cooks are scared of plastic. So this size frame, I usually do equal amounts of mousse on both sides. This one in particular, because the insert is so chunky, I usually do a little bit less mousse on the bottom and a little bit more mousse on top because we have all those banana pieces to go over. So it's about 750 on the bottom. I don't let the praline set up all the way either. It can tend to not stick to the mousse. You can put it in the refrigerator slightly, but I would not put it in the freezer or anything like that, where it's just going to separate, especially when you're trying to cut things in small pieces. They tend to fall apart at the layers if they don't connect to each other. Same thing with a cake. You want to put mousse directly on the cake, don't put it on frozen cake. Also have a serious banana issue in hotels where everyone in every restaurant orders a full case of bananas and then they all use 15 bananas and then they drop off the rest of the case of pastry. So this solves one of those problems. So this insert is stabilized by agar and gelatin. It's not super strong, so I usually unmold it first and then move it over. You also want to make sure flat side goes down. Closer. You can also use the parchment to help stabilize it. In there in one piece. I am going to press it down slightly too. You also know, it's probably hard to see from that angle, but I always start at one end and fold towards me. If you drop it straight down, there's a good chance you're getting a nice air pocket under there, and then the whole center of your bar is not going to be usable. It's a nice flow down. But just want to press it down a little bit more just in case that didn't get any air bubbles anywhere, but it looks good. The rest of this mousse on top. Most of the time when I use this frame, I actually make a little bit more mousse than I need. and we just take one big yardstick and run the yardstick over the whole top to make sure it's perfectly even and flat. With this one, I didn't want it all the way to the top, so it's a little bit under, but now I will lose some yield because we're going to be trimming the sides a little bit where it kind of comes up on the front. So. Banana bars. So I usually like to slice about this bar length for my buffet size. For the sake of tasting today, I did cut some smaller strips, but we got some nice layers. Look at all those banana chunks in there. Really nice look to it. All right, so it's this ready. Too much glaze to settle on top, so I am just going to run a spatula over just to get rid of that thicker layer. A little bit of air incorporated in this glaze from this lovely piece of machinery. It should be okay. So the reason I'm cutting these into bars is now we're going to cut them into smaller portions, and you're going to have the top and the sides glazed, and then you're still going to be able to see the interior. So this takes a lot less time, especially on a buffet style, than individually glazing teeny tiny squares, trying to glaze all four sides and the top. So it's a little bit faster to glaze it in full-size bars. Oh no, no, not at all. Very steady. These your chefs have to have very steady hands. Frank, would you like to keep glazing while I start cutting? Don't drop the sink. All right. Let's see. Reach under you very slowly and grab this plate. Nothing to see here.
Where did you buy this from for glazing?
The what?
Where did you buy this from for glazing?
The glazing
Yeah.
sauce gun. A lot of different places sell sauce guns. JP Prince usually sells them. It's from Amazon. Go figure. I should have guessed that.
$40 baby Prince is like 100. There you go.
It's quite a discount,
Big
actually.
discount.
Our whole lives are going to come from Amazon these days. All right. So I do try to pull this off the glazing screen before it sets up all the way. Otherwise, you're just pulling your glaze off. Run your spatula under it. Make sure it comes off clean. And I prefer to use a blowtorch to heat my knife opposed to hot water, just because I end up getting water all over everything. Just going to trim the end. Then clean wet rag, clean it off in between each slice. And after each one, I pull back and I usually push it forward a little bit so it's already pre-separated. I don't know about you guys, but I have certain sizes that are just in my head. They're all going to be cut exactly the same. You guys all have that one thing you can cut and you know exactly what size it's supposed to be without using the ruler. View on the inside. Oh, no. I was trying to balance it so I could scrape it off. But we're going to try that again. Nothing happened, guys. You didn't see anything. Everything's fine. Everything's fine, Frank. Nothing happened. So I usually, what I was trying to do was put it halfway on there, so that way when I set it down, it's gonna come off without me touching it. That's what I was trying to do. Once I pull them up, the extra cocoa powder comes off really easily. It's not a lot, but it's a nice textural difference to that. So I'm just going to break it off to the size of the bar I have. And I put it on a little bit of an angle, not straight on. See if I can pick up this squiggle one. That's fun. Sure, we can find a cool use for that. I feel it's very fragile, but. All right, that's our banana bar.